What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do another dye video. These tend to be what people like to see. I want to do other stuff, but people like to watch dye videos and learn, so I know a bunch of techniques, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to take a Latitude 64 no top stamped Explorer, just like the one I gave away. I'm going to do this dye. This is a technique that I call the marble dye, and I think a lot of other people call it that too. It's marble, kind of looks like granite, rocky whenever you're done with it, but I'm going to use purple on this one, and I'm going to make it look cool. But first, remember, hit like on these videos, share them, make sure you're subscribed to this channel, because I plan on doing more giveaways, so you need to be subscribed so you always know when I'm doing these things. So first off, what you're going to need, of course, is a disc, and like I said, I'll do a little close-up. This is a blank, no stamped disc on the top. It's got the little splatter stamp Latitude 64 on the bottom. As always, like I recommend, make sure you clean the top of this with some type of soap, something to get the oils off, because sometimes when they've done these in the molds, if they're not cleaned off after they're shipped out, whoever touched them, makes it hard for dye to stick to it. Sometimes the stuff that they have to put on and pull them out of the molds can affect the dye too. So yeah, make sure you clean it pretty good. You're going to need the color of idye poly you're going to be using, or at least that's what I use, is idye poly. I'm using purple. Keep in mind, I may do this dye again one day and show you a technique I came up with that I call a transitional marble dye. I didn't have time to do that today, but I made it to where I could do a few different colors all around the disc, and it worked pretty good. But your idye poly, it's just going to be mixed with water. I've already pre-mixed it in this. Hopefully that's enough. It's been a while since I did this. Need plastic wrap. If you don't have plastic wrap, go to the store and buy something. Get like 3 bags. You can go to Food City or whatever your grocery store is if they've got plastic bags. Walmart, you can use plastic bags for this. So it's pretty convenient to dye to do, and in my opinion, it's probably the easiest dye to do and get right. Plastic wrap, and of course, like I'm using an ultimate frisbee. You can use a deep dish or whatever, something that's going to allow you to put the disc down. I'm using this just in case I accidentally overflow my dye, and you'll need something heavy to sit on the back of the disc. So let's go ahead and we'll get this plastic wrap going. It usually takes probably like 3 or 4 balls of plastic wrap, and what you're going to do is you're going to just wad it up and crinkle it. If you're using bags, crinkle it up, and you're going to sit them in this disc just to get this whole area covered with plastic, because that's what's going to make the marble look. So I'm going to get to work doing that. I'll probably fast forward through this, so don't worry about my talking. Okay, this is what mine's looking like right here. Just a bunch of plastic in here. I think that's like 5 or 6 wads. Probably takes a little bit less with the store bags because they're just bulkier. But you just want it to be covering this, and I'll reference the disc. So I mean, that's what we're looking like. It's going to have full coverage of the plastic all the way around, and pretty much set this out of the way. Set this dye out the way. So pretty much all we're going to do, it's been a while since I did this dye, so I can't remember how much I put in, how much dye I pour in here. I think I always eyeballed it. You want to make sure you don't have too much to where the dye comes over the rim of the disc, because then that means you're going to dye the back of the disc, unless you don't care about that. But to make it look clean, you don't want it to be like that. First time messing up, that's fine. But like I said, this is purple. Looks black, but it's purple. And I'm just gonna set that right there. And just start kind of pouring it. Whoops. Thought I was safe on not getting that in places. Evidently not. Like I say, it's been a while since I did one of these. I used to do them all the time. This is like probably the hardest part of the dye. As you can tell, I don't have a whole lot of dye here. This is like a quarter or a pint, whatever you call these, mason jar. And of course, like any other dye, the longer you leave it, the deeper the color is going to be. The longer you leave it as well, probably you won't see a big difference, but the sharpness of the details in the dye might be a little bit more skewed with a very long time, but you won't tell that at first. I swear I was just getting a phone call, but it stopped, so. Let's see what that looks like. I don't want to put too much in. Note, if you end up putting too much in, you can just pour some out. It's not a big deal. That was a phone call. So, pretty much you just want to get this thing lined up in the center of your plastic. Pushing it down, and I can see some dye. And see, just to be practical, this is a pretty much brand new thing of spackling, so it's got some weight to it. And I want to do this. I usually would use like little 5-pound weights from a weight set that I've got, but not everybody's gonna have weights sitting around probably. So I figured use something that a lot of people can probably find around their house, something heavy. P.S. I forgot to get the weight from downstairs, didn't feel like getting it, so that's what I'm using. But I might stack just one more thing on top of this. But aside from that, that's all you do. Pretty easy. It's going to sit in that plastic. I'll probably leave it for like 12 hours or something like that, just overnight. It'll dye, and as long as nothing weird happens, I'm going to shut the door so the cats don't run in here and spill more dye, but that's pretty much it. We'll check back in like 12 hours or so, see what it looks like. But like I said, that's how I do a marble dye. Like I said, I might do another video here in the future showing you how to do a transitional marble dye. It takes more time, it takes more setup, same amount of dye time. The setup is a little bit more complicated, or at least the way I did it. So yeah, let's see what this dye looks like. Now, all right guys, we're back, and I've got this disc here. Looks pretty sweet. I will say I didn't have enough weight on it, or it's either not enough weight or a little bit too much dye, but it still looks pretty good. I'm going to end the video here just because this shows you the technique, but I might do a second video showing you the final results after I do another one. I'm thinking about doing another layer of a different color on here just to get some more marbling on it. Let's check it out. You can see the marble effect that I'm talking about in it, but these areas where there's heavy purple, that means there's either too much, it's not really too much dye. I mean, I needed a little bit less so I could put more pressure, but a little bit less dye and putting something heavier on there to get more pressure, or at least pushing it down myself further to get it, because all that is you're getting dye instead of the plastic wrap being in contact with the disc, so you get just dye. So that's what that's from. So a little bit more pressure would have probably helped this, but in turn it would have came over the rim because of the amount of dye I had. So just a little bit less dye. Let me see, where's it? So I had a full pint mason jar here, so I probably could have done maybe almost close to half the amount of dye of a pint, so about half a pint of that in that ultimate frisbee. But like I said, I'm gonna do another color. I might do some black on it and not leave it as long, and do a second coating. This is another one of those dyes you can kind of layer your dyes if you want to give it a double dimension. But like I said, this is going to end this video, and I'll probably do a follow-up video just to show you what it looks like with another layer and a color on top. But yeah, that's the marble dye. I wish I'd put a little bit more pressure down on this, but it still looks pretty cool. We get a really close up on it. But yep, that's it. Really? You've been off. Air conditioning.